think that's where a lot of people go bad with a pup. They throw them in a pen and just throw feed to them every day. And to me, you got to make a connection with them. Some guys don't agree with me on that, but I think you got to have a good bond with a dog.
It's real simple, I think, with a pup, and a lot of people don't understand it. When a pup is ready to start, it will start. You can't force a pup to start, and you can't force a pup to treat. It has to do it on its own.
All right, we are back with the Stark Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Clayton Stark. It's been a while since I made one of these, but got inspired a little bit after going to Autumn Oaks. I kind of quit making these because I just ran out of time making my videos and traveling as much as I do. And now this time of year, I also coach high school football, and that makes it pretty difficult to have enough time to travel and make hunting videos. And I'm at football every single day of the week, and then also record and edit audio for podcasts. But I'm going to start making these again, and something else I decided to start doing is taking this equipment with me in the woods when I'm hunting pups and stuff, and use that time to record some too and kind of document what's going on also. I'm also going to start interviewing more people. That way it's not just me all the time, and I can give you guys some good content. But back to Autumn Oaks, that's what kind of got me inspired to start making these again. They had the media center set up in the one building, and I got the chance to sit down with Steve Fielder and the people at the Houndstooth Podcasting Network. They have the Coon Hunting Confidentials podcast. So I got to meet Daniel Felker, Dustin Faulkner, and Ryan James. I also got to sit down with Ben Sheets of Tree Talking Media. So it was a really great time, and I made a video out of it on YouTube, so you can go on there and check it out. It's titled Autumn Oaks Recap 2022, and you can see the interviews on there and also see what Autumn Oaks was like this year. And if you're into paranormal or the unknown, especially this time of year with Halloween coming up, or if you just like listening to old coon hunting stories, make sure you check out Coon Hunting Confidentials, because they have a lot of people on there that share stories from over the years, whether it be Bigfoot encounters or UFOs or ghosts and all sorts of just unknown stories that people experience coon hunting. It's really interesting. A lot's happened since I made one of these, and since then I went to the Tournament of Champions. If you follow me at all, you would have seen on YouTube, that's where I post all my content, and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. But I'm going to start making more podcasts. But if you're new to my content and you haven't checked that out, make sure you go over to YouTube, because that's where most of my stuff is. And I've made a lot of different Houndsman Spotlight episodes since I made one of these. I made a Tournament of Champions video that did really well. And I believe since I had made one of these podcasts, just a few of the people I went hunting with to make YouTube videos for was Dick Brothers, Chad McCoyne, Bill Shinniger, Trevor Hack, Kurt Ehring, Dual Murphy, and Chris Harley. And actually this last weekend, a few days ago, I went hunting with Matt Lingo and Terry Tappy, the guys who own Country Club. And for those of you that don't know, Country Club is a Bluetick out of Big Country, and he actually won back-to-back National Grand Night Champion at Autumn Oaks. He's been doing a lot of winning consistently, and he's a pretty good coon dog. So if you want to see a good Bluetick go, make sure you check out my YouTube channel on September 25th. It's a Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when that video is going to premiere. But if that sounds interesting to you, and if you want to get to know kind of the story about this dog, that's what the focus of this podcast is going to be, because I actually sat down with the guys that own him and interviewed them before we went hunting that night. Now here's an interview for when I went hunting with Country Club.
All right, I'm Matt Lingo.
I'm Terry Tappy.
So you guys own Country Club?
Yes.
How did that come about, both of you owning them?
I call him Dink. I acquired him as a pup from Dave McGinnis. I just bought him. Actually, I don't even know what the deal was, but I just went out on a whim, and is the first Bluetick I ever got, and it's just kind of never looked back.
Was he a puppy when you got him?
He was right about 8 weeks old, I believe, when Dave delivered him. He drove from New York. Within 30 minutes of my house, I met him on the side of the road.
And then when did you become partners?
I think Dink was a year and a half old.
Yeah.
And I raised him and started him, and which my wife and kids had a big part of that, just raising him up. He started early. I think I put him in his first hunt when he was like 9 months old. And we just kind of took off, and it was maybe 5 months after that first hunt Matt reached out and said, hey, you going to Bluetick days this year? I said, no. He goes, well, that dog probably ought to go. Would you like me to take him? Or could I take him? And I said, take him. And I've never got the dog back.
So he stays with Matt most of the time?
So I took him Bluetick days that year, and I never won King of Hunted Bluetick days. Always wanted to win it. And we went out there and hunted him, and they had a young guns hunt Thursday night, and we didn't win. He didn't look very good, but I'd hunted him all week, and I told my wife when I get home, man, this dog is nice. Like, I love him. We ended up winning our cast Friday night, and then winning our cast Saturday night, and got King of Hunted Bluetick days. Came home and told my wife, I said, I don't know what it's going to take to buy that dog, but I'd like to own him. And I know Terry had some offers for him. I know it's probably more than what I offered him. But I reached out and asked him if he'd take this much for half, and he said, let me think about it, and called me the next day, and said, yeah, we'll do that. The rest is history, I guess.
It's history. It's,
I don't know.
So, there are a lot of people that are partners with dogs, and I don't know if you've heard, but I've heard some people have issues, or whether it be handling stud fees, or who's getting a stud fee pup, or who's taking them to hunt, stuff like that. Do you have any advice for people who might be partnering with a dog in the future?
my advice would be let one guy be in charge of that aspect of the dog. And in this case, it's this guy right here. I've been reached out and people called, and that's the first thing I tell them: get a hold of Matt, because as far as the stud dog goes, I'm really not in that business. If I breed a dog, then I'm really breeding a dog for myself. Mm-hmm. I'm more I like the puppy stages, and not everybody's like that. So this, as far as telling, it's the first partnership I've ever had on a dog, and that would probably be the only partnership I'd want to stay with.
Yeah, I think the important thing is we kind of set the ground rule at the start. When I made Terry that offer, I told him, I said, look, we're good friends. We're always going to be good friends, and if there's something wrong, or you're not happy, or I'm not happy, then you can just have the dog back, and we're going to be friends. No matter what happens here,
yeah,
you and I are going to be friends. And so it's been a great partnership. I don't partner with many people. I'm pretty selective who I do, but Terry's been a great one for sure.
So you've known each other for a while then?
Yeah, I've known Matt probably since 25 years. I've known him.
That helps a lot, I'm sure. You have a lot of experience with one another.
And I've drawed him out in hunts around home for years.
Yeah.
And he's always picked on me about hunting Bluetick.
And, Terry and I competed against each other for a lot of years, but I'd go out there and hunt, and I'd have trouble with the dog. I said, Terry, man, this dog's just doing this, What do you think? He'd give me some advice, and I'd go do it, and I'd be like, hang on. Terry actually knows what he's talking about.
Don't tell everybody that.
So you said that he would give you trouble or give you crap about hunting Bluetick. So what did you hunt before?
Walker dogs, mostly. I started out as a young kid, probably 10 years old, but my neighbor had a pair of red bones, and I caught the bug, and I think I got my first dog when I was about 14. It was an English red tick, and had I known then what I know now about dogs, I might be hunting English dogs now. But I ruined quite a few dogs just trying to figure out how to get one started.
Learning.
And it's still pretty easy to do. But with a good program and a good team, it takes a good team to make a good bunch of dogs, or just a couple good dogs, And not every night are they perfect, but I think at the end of the day, if we're happy with what we got, that makes a partnership, worth more than anything. So
yeah. Have you always hunted Blueticks then?
Always hunted Blueticks, yep. So I started hunting when I was 5 years old with my dad. He had blue dogs, and that's That's all I've ever hunted my entire life. So.
Did your family get you into hunting then too?
Well, I kind of, sort of. By the time I was really getting into it, like I said, I had a neighbor friend that my dad would hunt with a little bit. But my dad was tired of chasing dogs. Back then, these dogs didn't tree and stay treed like they do now, unless you had 3 or 4 of them, you know, in there. So the dogs have come a long way through the breeding, and some good, some not so good. But, you know, I can remember always making fun of the Bluetick guys, and I'd always make fun of Matt and his dad, and, you know, I drew his dad out a lot back in the day, but I can remember a couple dogs that they had that really impressed me back then. If they was a little better handlers, they might have
no doubt
done a little better, but you know, it's all a learning curve.
One thing I find interesting in you saying that is a lot of the people I talk to, there's hardly any of them have been hunting a specific breed and stuck with it their whole life. I don't know why, but it seems like they'll start with one and they'll get like a once-in-a-lifetime dog. And that kind of changes their perspective. And that's why I go with so many different breeds of people, because I don't care. I like all coon hounds. I like the way they look.
Right.
So if you turn it loose and it goes and trees a coon, that's what matters to me more than anything.
Absolutely. I'm not, you know, if I had a good opportunity for a nice walker pup, you know, I might jump on that and take my chance. I like a good coon dog. I don't really, I don't have a preference. I'm kind of partial to these light-colored blue dogs that, but I've had a lot of luck with them, and they seem to like to please you, and like anybody else's, when you show up, you really don't know what you're turning loose that night until the night's over with.
So how do you? Oh, you can go first this time. How do you like to start pups?
Really, probably I've learned more from Terry on starting pups than anybody. I've watched him since we've been partners. Seems like he always comes up with a nice pup, and so I got to thinking about it, and he lets his pups run loose around the house. And if you sit there and think about that, the only time my pups were getting hunted is when I got them out of the kennel and took them hunting. Whereas if you let them pups run loose, they're hunting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're learning. And so what I really like to do now, after watching him do it, is I let these pups run loose, and once they start getting into stuff and the neighbor's got to bring them home, or it's probably time to put them up. But and then once I put them up, you know, I'll take them for walks through the woods, or we'll trap some coon, maybe turn one loose for them, that type of thing, and then just from there, just take them hunting.
So, do you have anything to add to that, then?
No, he's doing a good job.
Oh, you're the puppy man.
We've had some pretty good success with breeding dogs to dink, and you know, just the pups that we've kept. We've had some pretty decent ones.
Yeah.
And I can't hunt them all. He can't hunt them all. We both have families, and we have other obligations. So usually, I think the best thing to do with a good started pup, once it gets to a certain point, is just to move it down the road and hope it gets in the right hands.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of them do that are, you know, guys are going to start hearing of them, I think.
Yeah. We had a club meeting up there at our club last Tuesday, and there was 3 guys at that club meeting, and they all went hunting together. They was all hunting pups off the dink, so which is pretty cool. It's pretty neat to see.
Yeah.
One of them guys was a walker man too. So.
Well, that's another thing. If you go hunting with them, you might have a bias towards a certain dog or a certain breed, but you go hunting with them and you hear them open up and tree, and if you go hunt with the right dog, it can make you change your preferences a lot in what you got
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yep.
As far as the breeding and the, you know, with the blue dog, I still, to this day, people ask me, hey, what's that dog get out of and go back to? I don't know. I don't try to keep track of bloodlines much and what breeding's doing what. Like I said before, if it's a nice dog, I don't care what it's out of. And I think a lot of people nowadays are doing that. It's with the crossbreed, you know, it's shooting up.
Yeah.
People are finding out that too much line breeding all these years, and we got a lot of bad traits, which are good traits, but you know, too much of it can go the opposite direction.
Yeah. Just like anything, too much of something is not good.
Right.
So if you're doing... Live breeding can be good, but if you do it for 40 or 50 years, then
Yeah.
you could be missing out on something.
Yeah.
So, do you know how he's bred?
So he's off of Big Country on the top side, and then off of what's her name, Fancy? That's the female that Dave had. And Fancy goes back. There's Tim's Iron Will dogs back in there, and Bishop's Blue Grover. I've hunted with that Grover dog, and John Bishop. And John Bishop, the thing I like about him is that dog is the one that won those hunts. It wasn't John.
Yeah.
John's a super honest, super nice guy, and when you hunt with a dog that's really nice and you've done some winning like he did, that pretty impresses me. So, that's kind of how he's bred.
Have you noticed any females or any bloodlines that might have a lot of success crossing with him?
You know, I think just about every female we've crossed on him has turned out pretty decent hounds for the most part. I think there was a Smoky River bred female that Mark Brady had.
Yeah.
There was several in that litter that were really nice.
Was her name Dream?
Yeah.
So I hunted her for a couple months. She's a very nice female.
That was a nice cross, and then I got a 6-month-old pup now off of a female that I started. She was off of Pison and Apple's honeybee female. Jake and Joel Apple owns the honeybee female. Mike Shepard on Pison. I had her. She got a little track happy on me. I sold her, bought her back because I knew they started early. That Sadie female, when I cut her loose for the first time in the woods, she treed at the very first tree she went to. And I thought, you know, I'd like to get some of that early start stuff in there. And so I bought her back and made that cross, and I got a 6-month-old pup here out of that cross that's running the tree, and I can't let him loose around here. He's going to get treed somewhere. So I think that cross is going to be really nice.
I don't know of any crosses that really stick out, because I feel like the ones that and I haven't had a pup out of all these litters that we've had, which hadn't really been too many, but the few that I've kept around and all started young, and they all maybe have a little different trait than what Dink would have, and I didn't really know much about the female, but you know, I think they're gonna turn into good dogs, and they're all young yet.
Yeah. I like asking that question with people, because then 20 years from now someone could go back, and if someone noticed that this line of dogs was reproducing better, that might help someone 20 years down the road.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting to see, but most people I hunt with have really well-known top stud dogs that are reproducing, so it's pretty common that most of the pups turn out pretty good.
Yeah.
Because if you have a good female, you're going to go to a good male, and anytime you get quality with quality, it's got a pretty good chance to make something.
Right.
So do you have anything to add before we go hunting? We'll talk about I want to save something for when we're out there. So we'll talk about the competition hunting and that side of it once we get to the woods.
I don't think so. I just, you know, I enjoy the time I spend out in the woods with dogs that want to please, and I think that's what we have.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, we, just like everybody else, they can get you aggravated, and maybe 30 minutes into your hunt, you know, you're right back to where you was, and everybody's on the same page again.
Yeah. I think one thing to add, you know, it takes a lot of people to make all this happen. You know, Terry and I kind of get a lot of the I guess, notoriety, if you want to call it that. But, you know, we got a really good team of people that work with us. You know, Derek Bryan, Sam Jones, Ryan Davidson, and Roger Geisman helped me get Dink ready for Autumn Oaks this year. And then, you know, our families, you know, they sacrifice a lot for us to go out here and do what we love to do. And so it's a really neat team that we have. We have a lot of fun at the same time.
And one thing you mentioned, that you said your wife and kids help around the house a lot too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people that start their own pups. They'll let their wife and kids handle them.
Oh, yeah.
And I've noticed if you just do that socializing with them, that makes all the difference in the world. Because like you said, they want to please you.
Right? Absolutely.
Because they have some sort of connection with
Yep.
He's the best thing that happened to these pups we got. He just goes out there and messes with them, plays with them. So.
All right, well, that'll be good. We can go get dark now and go to the woods.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll share a little audio clip of that dog treeing and opening a little bit so you can kind of get a feel for what that dog sounds like. All right, well, there he was. He sounds pretty good coming on the tree there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And remember, September 25th, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to see the rest of the interview and see the dog in action, make sure you tune into my YouTube channel to see the full video go live. And before we get off here, I'd like to thank my sponsors. I'd like to thank Dogtra, Conkey's Hunting Supply, Coon Dog Wear, Gun Dog House Doors, Bill Schiniger of Saddle Up Plots and Saddle Up Cryo. I'd like to thank Kentucky Cooner. I'd like to thank John Stieber of Lonesome Blue Kennels. I'd also like to thank Big Dog Lights, Bayou Legacy Game Calls with the Tree Shaker Coon Squaller, Ringtails and Tall Tails Hunting Dog Supply and Taxidermy. And I'd like to thank all of you out there for listening and watching my videos and supporting what we do. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I'll talk to you later.
He ended up treeing 7/10 of a mile. Had my light on coming in, and he had another coon, so turned him loose 3 times. He had 3 coons.